Hello and welcome to Newsroom series on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Today our focus is on the southwest region. We start off in Ogun, where the state government has attributed the cause of methane emission in some schools in Ijebu-Ode to natural underground ecological causes and not spiritual myth and security threat has been speculated in many quarters in the towns. Now, the State Commissioners for Environment, Ola Oresoya, and his health counterpart, Dr. Tomi Koka, made the clarification during a stakeholders meeting with parents, head of schools, and development partners in Ijebu-Ode. Now, the meeting afforded the state officials opportunity to explain some of the progress made so far.
Parents, school administrators, and community leaders in the Ijebu-Ode area of Ogun State meet with government officials to get updates on the recurring gas emissions that have disrupted academic activities 3 times this year. Scientific investigations reveal that fractures along established geological fault lines are the source of the methane and hydrogen sulfide gas emissions. The Commissioner for Environment, Ola Oresoya, assures residents that experts are closely monitoring the situation.
The gas in Ijebu-Ode is not any security threat. The science has confirmed to us where this gas is coming from. No threat that is confirmed is not due to any traditional myth. We want to stop you as coders. Don't fall for any kind of advice that is one part of tradition. It is 182. They must go and do. This gas has always been there for years, for centuries.
While appealing to residents to report unusual environmental changes, officials also caution against spreading unverified information that could trigger unnecessary panic.
Some people are exploiting us by selling masks to us to help us cover our nose. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself, because that mask is going to reduce the oxygen content of the air that you're breathing in, and the methane already is reducing it. So the best thing is get a wet handkerchief and cover your nose. No masks.
Let us find out. Some of us, we have the school principals. Some of you have our numbers. You can call to find out information. You can also pass information to us, rather than causing panic. This is a natural phenomenon.
After initial findings on the source of the emissions, a team of scientists will dig deeper into the behavior of the gases to determine if more danger lies ahead.
We have acquired radar data, we have acquired digital elevation model, and we have acquired shaded map relief so that we can trace all these faults, all these fractures where they exist, and we can actually know where they are, and we can now predict or interpret them.
While there are no reports of fatalities, authorities reiterate that public vigilance, accurate information, and sustained scientific investigation remain the strongest safeguards against future methane-related disruptions.
In Lagos, the state government has announced plans to collaborate with other southwest states on a regional development strategy aimed at easing population pressure in the commercial capital of the country as part of efforts to address climate change, environmental degradation, and rapid urbanization. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, and the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Oluyinka Olumide, made the comment at a symposium called Lagos Policy Dialogue on Climate Adaptation in the Gulf of Guinea, Building Preferred Futures.
Climate change is a major threat to people's health, and this comes through air pollution, disease spread, extreme weather conditions, flooding and forced displacement, among other consequences. The impact of climate change is no longer a distant threat across the Gulf of Guinea. As part of efforts to mitigate its devastating effects, the Lagos state government officials, policymakers, environmental experts, and representatives of Gulf of Guinea countries converge on the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency for a symposium on Lagos policy dialogue on climate adaptation in the Gulf of Guinea to discuss strategies for building resilient cities and communities capable of withstanding the impacts of climate change.
People are pushing back in the name of urbanization. They will tell us we have to provide shelter. Yes, people can't be allowed to sleep on the roads. But at what cost? What are we going to give up to achieve that? That is the bone of contention here. They may tag some of us because we seek to tread a path very few are ready to tread. And that's a part of the environment.
Please, I have not met a single person in the Gulf of Guinea who denies climate change is happening. We see that in other parts of the world. There have done projects even in the United States, in Massachusetts, where people deny that there's climate change.
We must find a way of restoring back our mangrove system. This mangrove system serves as retention hall or detention pond for our coastal lands. And the moment we degrade them, we turn them to estate, the reality is not balanced.
Climate experts warn that without urgent interventions, including improved planning, nature-based solutions, and stronger community participation, Lagos could face severe environmental consequences by the year 2050.
Temperature, and this is going to continue increasing because the atmosphere is still warming, because greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere are still going up.
Planning, housing, hybrid adaptation, soft measures, nature. Lagos need to take all of this on that and let the best of scientific evidence inform policy making.
The Lagos state government acknowledges the support of development partners in advancing climate adaptation efforts across the Gulf of Guinea. It also warns residents to avoid building on wetlands in order to avoid environmental challenges.
As a coastal state, we are exposed to the vagaries of climate change, sea level rise and stuff. But we should not exasperate it by making it worse for our citizens. So we should not drive urbanization at the expense of the environment. Let us try to conserve the mangroves, the wetland, and see how we can work around them.
You cannot do any development in Lagos without approval. Now, for you to get approval means that everything must have been considered. So if you go ahead on your own and you build on wetland, my friend, like he used to say, he's not going to demolish your house, he will only remove it along the drain path.
The message from this dialogue is that climate adaptation can no longer be addressed as a future aspiration. Experts believe the time has come to drive adaptation initiatives that will safeguard the future of Lagos for generations to come.
Meanwhile, the Lagos state government has declared that it will remove all illegal structures obstructing canals and drainage channel right-of-way along Agungi, Ajiran and Ikota areas of the state. The Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, made this known after an inspection tour of critical drainage infrastructure and flood mitigation projects in Lekki, Agungi, Ikota and Ajiran areas. The Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, and his team are out to inspect the ongoing drainage projects in Etiosa local government area of the state and infractions carried out on drainage paths along Agungi area of Lekki. From the look of things, some developers and property owners have illegally obstructed the outlet of a primary drainage channel leading directly into the Lagos Lagoon, preventing storm water from flowing freely out of the community, putting the structures in Ajiran area at risk when it rains.
Then look at yourself. How would this water go? Let it rain for just 1 hour to flood Nigeria. So how did you allow it? How did you allow it?
The illegal activities discovered during the inspection came to our attention through whistleblowers around the state. And this prompted the attention of the government to illegal environmental activities ongoing in the area.
That we are not going to tolerate any form of encroachment on the alignment, floodplains, and our discharging point for stormwater. whosoever you are, we don't care whose ox will be God, we shall remove those contraventions immediately. And the first one we had to do was around the Agogi area. For the uptenth time, we've been going here for the past 3 years. We've put in place infrastructure. We're even still doing a construction work on the Ajiro corridor. We're giving them the go-ahead to remove and open up our channel to the lagoon. And that will start immediately tomorrow. We'll come back during the week to see the level of work that has been done.
The Lagos Lagoon is on the rise owing to the rainfall pattern. Unfortunately, some communities are threatened with the continuous rainfall, and some residents are deliberately reclaiming the wetlands in the Kota area of Lagos State. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources insists that all structures on drains will be removed.
The state policy is the wetland is nature's sponge, holding water when it rains heavily. Now they are destroying the wetland, destroying the ecosystem, trying to reclaim the lagoon without approvals. So we said to them, Solace Estate, whoever it is, please stop the work. Let us see your paperwork, and we are certain they don't have any. And we noticed now that somebody under the name of Megamond is trying to push back the Kota River. And we insisted from the beginning that to have a reclamation, you must give us our 150-200. And that's what we want to enforce.
The Lagos State government encourages developers to obtain an environmental impact assessment clearance from the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources before beginning any reclamation or construction activities, and avoid bypass statutory requirements in order not to lose huge investments on property. In Ondo State, residents of Eba Island, where petroleum was discovered in commercial quantity, have demanded that they should be consulted before the exploitation of oil commences. The traditional ruler of Atijere Kingdom, under which the island is located, the Molokun Oba Samuel Adeoye, stated this while addressing journalists in his palace in Ilaje local government area. He appeals to the Nigerian Boundary Commission to step in and help determine the rightful owners of the island to avert crisis between Ondo and Ogun states.
Ownership of Eba Islands remains a controversial subject between the Ogun State and Ondo State governments, particularly following the discovery of petroleum deposits in the area. This disagreement continues to generate competing claims over the oil-rich island and the communities that inhabit it.
Forest is up where this oil is located.
The traditional ruler of Atijere Kingdom in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State is renewing his community's claim to the island. Addressing journalists at his palace, the traditional ruler maintains that Eba Island has remained under the jurisdiction of Atijere Kingdom for decades. He also cites the conduct of the recent Ondo South Senatorial District by-election in settlements on the island as evidence supporting the kingdom's position.
Ondo State have 2 polling units there on that island. Basa, Unit 21, Main Ward 4, and Luboroko, Unit 24, Main Ward 4. In fact, during this last just concluded by-election, elections were conducted in all those places. And these 2 polling units are on that Eba Island. We don't want crisis. We want the project to be done. But then, while I pray for that, our right must not be taken away from us. But if Jopless, the main contractor, but choose not to visit Atijere, not to come and discuss with us about what they want to do there, we will fight for our right.
These claims are backed by other highly placed community leaders.
This island belongs to Ondo State. It's a forest reserve.
Residents vow to continue to press what they describe as their legitimate claim to the island, while calling for their interest to be recognized in any discussion relating to the island's resources.
We are not going to allow them. Why? Because we are the owner of this Eba Island, and this Eba Island belongs to Atijere community for a very long time. Even though not only this Eba, not this only Agobalogun here, we still have the other village called Agwalaja, Agor, Olumidegun, many villages, and we also have units in this Eba Island, Unit 20, Iluburoko, Unit 24. So I don't know reason why those people came from this afternoon, that maybe they are the owner of this Eba Island.
As interest in the economic potential of Eba Island continues to grow, stakeholders say resolving the ownership question through lawful and peaceful means will be crucial to ensuring lasting stability and equitable resource development.
When we come back after the break, the NDLEA in Ekiti State gives a scorecard of its operations in the past 1 year. Do join us again. Welcome back. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, says it has destroyed more than 51 hectares of cannabis farms and arrested 281 suspects involved in drug-related offenses across Ekiti State in the past year. Despite significant efforts by the agency to totally eradicate illicit drugs from Nigeria, record shows drug abuse still remains a major public health and security concern across the country. Addressing journalists in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital, the commander, NDLEA Ekiti State, Sunday Rufus, said the agency have secured 50 convictions and recovered over 6.3 tons of illicit substances. According to him, the state command recorded major successes in the fight against drug trafficking, abuse and cultivation across the state.
In the past 1 year, we have destroyed nothing less than 51 hectares of cannabis sativa plantations with a weight of over 127 tons across different local government areas of the state. We have also arrested not less than 281 suspects involved in illicit trade of drug dealings, trafficking, and usage across the state. Among the arrested suspects, a total of 50 drug dealers were successfully convicted and serving jail terms, with other cases still pending at Federal High Court, Ado-Ekiti. The state command.
Let's talk politics now, and as preparations for the 2027 general elections gathers momentum across the country, the Oyo State chapter of a new women-focused political structure, Tinubu Torch Bearers, has been inaugurated with a mandate to penetrate all wards across the state and mobilize grassroots support for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu next year. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, the matron of the group and former First Lady of Oyo State, Ambassador to Austria, Mrs. Florence Ajumobi, said the initiative aligns with the vision of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu.
The women wing of the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State is increasing grassroots mobilization ahead of 2027 general elections with the launch of the Tinubu Torch Bearers to illuminate grey areas of government policies and drum support for President Tinubu's re-election. Matron of the group, Mrs. Florence Ajumobi, widow of former Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajumobi and Nigeria's ambassador to Austria, says the initiative aligns with First Lady Oluremi Tinubu's vision to help Nigerians, especially women, understand the policies and initiatives targeted at their development and to support a second term for the president.
I implore our women once again to let us work together, join hands together, and make sure that the party goes into victory come 2027. We cannot do anything if there's no togetherness. The symbol of our party is the broom. And as you can all see, and you all know, the broom is all together. When you remove the rope that binds it together, it scatters. And we don't want that. We want unity for us to be victorious. We want unity for us to win the election.
Chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State, Moses Adeyemo, charges members to remain focused on their mandate by engaging the public with confidence, truth and peace at all times.
To provide welfare support and economic relief to vulnerable women. To mobilize, educate and empower women across wards and local government of Oyo State. These are noble agendas that we must embrace, and if these objectives are strictly followed, we shall put our president on the pedestrian of success in the 2027 general election.
Convener of the group, Felicia Opatude, pledges to galvanize members towards securing a second-term mandate for President Tinubu, while also advancing the interest and welfare of women in Oyo State.
You know, we all know that the system inherited a complex structure, and we have the capacity and all it takes to bring about a change. But if we must have a meaningful change, there must be a time to endure some hardship. That's the stage we are in. And I want to assure us, by the grace of God and by hope in God, it's going to be very soon. Our day of redemption is so close, but we need to endure more.
The torchbearers are urged to see this assignment as an opportunity to give hope to people across all the 33 local government areas of your state.
Meanwhile, the director of the City Boy movement in Oyo State, Olufemi Onireti, has led members of the movement to Igbora in the Barapa zone of the state to distribute mobility aids to persons with disabilities as part of efforts to improve the welfare of vulnerable members of society. The outreach, which targeted 300 beneficiaries, featured the distribution of 116 motorized wheelchairs, 5 pairs of crutches, 20 walking sticks, 10 walking frames, and other mobility devices to enhance the movement and independence of persons with disabilities. Speaking with journalists, Honorable Onireti said the initiative was aimed at ensuring that persons with special needs are not left behind in the society.
The government actually has a lot of plans for the special people, and let's just support them more. And as time goes on, we're going to see a lot of plans that they have in stock. We've done in Ogbomoso. We did about a few months ago. We're doing it today. Yes, we're still going to do it in other zones in the state as well.
You know, our people have been here suffering, looking for at least the equipment to work, to move around. And when my Oga brought this up, I was so happy that at least for now, it will serve as something that will motivate our people, that make them to be able to move around, do one or two things, instead of crawling on the floor.
The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASG, has unveiled its new 3367 toll-free short code hotline, a strategic initiative which is designed to fortify emergency response operations, optimize traffic management efficiency, and deepen public participation in the administration of road transportation across Lagos State. Now, the newly introduced short code represents a significant migration from the agency's former long service code platform to a more accessible, technologically advanced, and citizen-oriented communication framework. Available toll-free on all network providers, the platform enables Lagos residents to now report traffic-related emergencies and incidents without financial burden, or without any financial burden. Now, the General Manager of LASG, Mr. Olalekan Bakarioki, says through the 3367 hotline, road users can promptly notify LASG of vehicular breakdowns, road traffic collisions, disabled articulated vehicles, stranded tankers, traffic obstructions, and other emergencies requiring urgent intervention. Importantly, the platform will also serve as a credible avenue through which members of the public may report the conduct, professionalism, and operational activities of LASG personnel on duty, thereby reinforcing transparency, accountability, and service excellence within the agency. A former Minister of Works, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, has called for stronger enforcement of laws, greater public accountability, and a renewed commitment to security as critical pillars of good governance in Nigeria. The former minister made this call while delivering the keynote speech at the 2026 Nigerian Bar Association Ikeja Branch Law Week in Lagos. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shirley, reports.
Members of the bar and bench gathered in Lagos for the 2026 Nigerian Bar Association NBA Ikeja Branch Law Week. They are joined by their invited guests to share thoughts on the theme, altering the status quo, going against the norm.
The status quo, as we all know, often offers comfort, predictability, and continuity. This theme, therefore, invites us to ask probing question: what is the status quo? Does the current status quo pay us? And what must change?
Today, our nation stands at a critical crossroads. We are confronted by economic challenges, governance concerns, serious security issues, pressures on democratic institutions, and growing demands for justice and accountability. In such times, merely maintaining the status quo may no longer be sufficient.
The keynote speaker, former Minister of Works Babatunde Fashola, also shared his views on status quo and the controversy it generates, especially with court orders.
Let's leave that antiquated Latin word behind. Let us use very simple words like state of affairs, like the current situation. I will recommend that beyond just saying status quo, I hereby order that the current situation be maintained. And for emphasis, I direct that the current situation is that we are in a meeting in this room as of this day. Nobody should change it pending.
On moving against the norm and for our collective security, he made a critical suggestion.
So there was one country I checked. I was looking for local data I couldn't find, but this country had 1,549,000 offenses committed with a vehicle in 1992. If that happened to us, how many of those vehicles can we identify? Because a registration plate is not a status symbol, it's an identity. So that even if we can't catch the person immediately, somebody will remember that it was a vehicle with this color, with this registration plate. That's where we begin to look to find out who has hurt a member of our community.
Other invited guests also spoke on the sub-theme, Law, Leadership and the Ballots, Governance Beyond Politics.
I joined politics without knowing anybody. But one of the things I did differently is I took responsibility. I volunteered. I was always looking and scouting for gaps. You can't go into a room and expect the room to move for you. You must be able to contribute to the moving of the room.
I am an optimist about our democratic systems, and I think if we all just continue to do our bit, whether incumbent, opposition, I think we'll get there.
The leadership of the NBA branch says recommendations from these events will be collated and acted on in the best interest of its members and the public. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
Many thanks for watching, of course, news across Nigeria. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.